Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by to this video where I will cover the Captain America SH Figuarts Avengers Endgame figure. So this is not the first Captain America that Bandai Tamashii Nations have made. This is probably the third, maybe fourth one that they've done. The last version was the Infinity War version, which wasn't that great, but let's see how this one stacks up. So let's go through the packaging first, then I'll go into the figure and the parts too. So here we go is with the packaging, which is similar, pretty much the same as the other SH figure. So this follows on from Thanos and the Mk85 Iron Man figure. So white medicinal sort of looking packaging with the blue Avengers Endgame logo, manufacturer's logo, and a nice big window display to see the figure. So you got Captain America there with the optional head. Sadly, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any maskless head, which is a blessing in disguise because, like I said, the Infinity War one wasn't that hot. Then you get the shield, and then you get some extra parts there. The backing on this is the reflective sort of silver backing card, which kind of shines in here. You can see, looks cool, gives it a nice finish. Then on the side we've just got plain text, and on the reverse we've got some cool pictures of Captain America himself with a shield on his back. I always like this pose. This was possible in the first figure that they released, and a few other pictures too. So portrait pictures right here. Limited sort of portraits. You can see one eye is looking slightly to the right, and then one just straight on. So it's not a big difference. A bit lazy, you might say, but hey ho. Then of course we got the sticker on the spine of this box. Remember, not every single figure of SH Figuarts has this. I guess the Endgame ones always include this, but this is a starting point if you want to know if you've got a legitimate figure or not. It's not the be all or end all by any means, but it's a good starting point. So that's the packaging. I missed the top, and here's the bottom. So let's get this thing open. And here's the Endgame Captain America out of the box. Now he only comes with one optional face, which is a little bit disappointing, which I touched on with the packaging. And then he comes with a couple of extra hands, some parts for the shield, and then of course the shield itself. So let's quickly show you the face first. So the original one is just him looking straight ahead, and then this one is just him looking just a little bit to the right and slightly up, very slightly up. You can't move the eyes on this, sadly. It's just a pre-made head, which is disappointing. I feel like at this point in this day and age that you might as well just try and get the articulated eyes put in there somehow, but sadly not the case for this one. Overall though, I mean, the head looks okay, and the nose is okay, the mouth is okay, but I guess, like I said, we got a very bad unmasked head with Infinity War, so maybe we've dodged a bullet this time around. Then we'll just show you the shield. The shield is pretty good. Now I'm not sure how the colors will show up on this video, but to my eye it's a little bit on the magenta side rather than a red that you might recognize and be used to. It looks a little bit different. It's not bad different, but it might be a little bit kind of like a second take that you might want to do, because it's not the bright red that you're used to. Blue as well looks a little bit dimmer or duller compared to the blue that you might be used to again, but otherwise I think it looks okay, and in photos it turns out quite well. But yeah, I just think the red might be incorrect shade of red. On the other side you have two different size holes, so the width of them is a little bit different. You can see on the right side is smaller width, left side is slightly wider, so this kind of just depends on which attachment piece you want to use for that. Then we go on to the hands. So aside from the two fists already attached to him, he comes with this extra pair of hands. So this is basically relaxed open hands, and then the gloves are textured and sculpted, so you can see in the palm, just around the thumb area, and then just down here where the palm is, you can see the detail there. And then of course the knuckles are exposed on the reverse side, and then the extra detail around the bottom towards the wrist, and then there. So fingerless gloves for Captain America. The other pair are to launch the shield. So these are posed as such, but then they also have a little pegs, you might call them, shaped pegs, L-shaped pegs, so you can attach the attachment onto it, and then the shield itself. So the shield sort of rests in the thumb. I find that, I find it more comfortable and more stable to use his right hand, but that may differ for your own experience. Then his final pair of hands are these, which have the straps already applied to them, which is different from the first Captain America that I bought of the SH Figuarts, which was way back with Civil War, I think, and that one actually you needed to plug in the straps. So I don't know what it was like with Age of Ultron. I never did open my one, So this is new to me, and I don't really like it that much, to be honest, because they're very mushy. You can see here they move quite a lot, so when you're trying to attach it to the shield, it doesn't really apply that greatly. And then even the pegs are so like squishy that they just don't really hold so well into the shield. Again, I think the right one was a little bit better, a bit more solid fit, but I think over time that's just going to be the same as the left one. But other than that, you can see the detail of the fingerless gloves. Again, same sort of textured effect happening where it needs to. And then that's the strapped hands. Then these are just the various attachments. So because again, I don't know how the Age of Ultron Captain America was, but these ones, you get two pairs of straps which are slightly differing in the width based on the placement. Now these are probably just for decorative purposes, so when you have him launching the shield, you have this strap already attached to it. Say if you're taking a bottom up sort of photograph, then you won't have a missing piece, you can just attach it on. And then you get this piece. So say you're using a strap with one of the fists, you loop this through to the forearm first, and this is the strap that attaches to the forearm, and then he's holding on to this one. So it's a cool little piece to add, but again, because it's kind of soft plastic, when you're trying to attach it, it can come undone from the shield fairly easily. So you might have got the perfect pose, but then all of a sudden these just kind of come undone and they don't really hold onto the shield that much. Then we have the actual attachment that he uses to launch the shield. So one side goes onto the shield, so this bit goes onto one side of the shield, I believe it's the widest side, and then the other side grips onto the L shape of the launching hand. So I'll show you that just now. So it works for either side. So this one, I am using his left hand, and then what happens is you just plug it in like so, and there we go. Now you just need to get the shield and attach that, and I'll show you that later on once we cover the figure itself. Then finally, this is an attachment that goes into the back of Captain America, and this lets him place the shield on his back. So this one, I do recall, is quite similar to, I guess, every single Captain America figure, but definitely the first one that I've only had experience with in terms of SH Figuarts. You've got a hole here, so if you want to attach this to the shield and then use a stand to have him actually throwing it, then you can do that just by plugging in the stand into this. You can use the official stand, or you can use a third-party stand to do that as well. There's a little hole that you need to, a little piece that you need to take out of the back of Captain America, and then this plugs in. It's a little bit tricky because the piece is very tiny, but I'll see if I can show you how to do that. Then onto the figure. So Captain America is a pretty good figure overall. Now again, I don't remember the Age of Ultron because I never opened it, and my memory of the Civil War Captain America is so far back, but I do remember it being one of my favorite figures way back then. This one is still a pretty good figure. It still has the very similar articulation as the Civil War figure, but it's upgraded in some certain senses in terms of the way it looks. Maybe an upgrade actually, depending on how you like the Endgame costume. But there are differences from the various iterations of Captain America SH Figuarts. So for example, you can see Endgame 1, he had these shoulder pads on both sides with the Avengers A on them, and they're textured, so it has that sort of what's it called, the feathered look going on with them. Same again on the chest, all around you can see is textured, whereas the original Captain America figure from Civil War and then the one from Age of Ultron did not have these textured effects. They had slightly different things going on the chest and the pads. I believe the pads were actually similar shape but just plain, but these are now textured. Then looking further down, you still have the dark red and white stripes going on around the belly area. Let's lift his arms up a bit, and then you've got the belt, which I think is actually the same. I could be wrong, but I actually don't pay that much attention to the belt, so it looks fine to me. I think it's a little bit low in my for my liking, but it's okay. Then you've got the little red bits here coming down. That also goes onto the very upper portion of the leg as well, and then further downwards with the pockets, kneecaps, and then of course the boots. These boots may be quite similar to the Age of Ultron one. I recall back with Civil War and then to Age of Ultron they changed the boots slightly. So these ones are probably more like that. Again, I could be wrong, so forgive me if I am, but they look okay. In photos they might turn out a little bit black for me, but these are actually a very dark brown, and they look pretty good overall. On the reverse side then, you've got the straps going into a cross shape. This is the little hole that you need to take out the little piece. I'll show you that right at the end. And then the rest of the back, the belt. The belt is actually glued on, so if you ever wanted to remove it, you could do that for you modders out there. and then even go into the helmet. So you go to A, onto the helmet, and then the chin strap. Chin strap also goes towards the back of the neck, is sculpted on. Same with the blue part, and you can see his hair sculpted too. And then you've got little dings right here, which is on both heads. So the head's a straight head swap, it's not a face plate or anything, it's just straight head swap. And again, showing you closer detail of Chris Evans' likeness. It's okay, it's passable. I mean, it's better than having an unmasked head that Infinity War had, which was Chuck Norris, basically. But overall, the figure looks okay. It's not a truly amazing figure. It's not the best figure. I mean, it's fine for my liking. If you really want a good Captain America, then I'd go with the non-comic Revoltech, because those ones look super good. But we've gone through the aesthetics, let's go through the articulation then. So starting with his head, you can move his head upwards around that much, and then downwards, including the neck joint, touching his collarbone, which is perfect. You can tilt side to side, and of course look side to side as well. Just a word of caution that my neck joint the head joint got stuck inside the head when I tried to swap it. Hopefully that doesn't happen when I do the head swaps later on, but that could happen with you. Shoulders then, they drop up, again dropping down, and can move up and then around. So if you want to bring his shoulders up, you can bring it about that far. Dropping it down is about that far. If you leave them where they are, then it's about straight 90 degrees. Then he doesn't have any swivel at the bicep, sadly. Double jointed elbows there. Here's the elbow cap, very similar to the knee. Then for the hand, you can see the twist, and then the up and down, like so. Well, I'm doing it side to side, but you get the point. Torso then, you can crunch, upper crunch about that much, with the lower bit more. So I'll show you that again. Fully there. Just to point out though, I do feel that his belly is a little bit thin. That's just me. I think overall the figure actually could be a bit more thicker build, because I feel Captain America needs to be a bit thicker. Anyway, when you crunch him forward, you might get some small gaps, but not a big deal. Leaning back, this guy can lean back a lot. You'll get some gaps though, so if you even reset him a little bit and lean back so there's no exposure, he still leans back a healthy amount. To the side, from the top, just as good. Bit stiff on my one, but it is possible. Let's try that again. There we go. So mine's a little bit stiff on the one side, but you can see now paint's coming off, so be careful with that. Then twisting, of course, twisting a little bit on the lower waist too. Again, don't be too rough with it, because then you're going to get paint coming off, and you don't want to also undo the belt, which is only glued on. Paint, by the way, is normal to come off. That's just where it is because of friction. If you're new to figures, common sense really. Legs, they pull down and then pop back up. Pull them down to get some extra motion so you can kick straight up a bit more than 90 degrees to the knee. Knee them in the face, boosh, and then down to the ankle. No calf swivel, nothing like that. Oh, sorry, I did miss the swivel there and a swivel there. I believe for mine, the left leg feels a little bit loose. Not as loose as some figures I've got, but it's a wee bit loose. Down back to the ankle, points up a little bit, not down so much. I don't want to push it too much and break it. And then you can pivot ever so slightly, like so. Toe hinge is super good, pretty much 90 degrees upwards on both, and that's super good. I really like that actually for this figure. It means you can get into crouching positions very, very well. And that's the articulation for Captain America. Now, let's go on and swap his head and his hands and attach the shield to his back, things like that. Now, as I said, when I swap his head, the joint might get stuck inside the actual head. Hopefully it doesn't, but let's give it a shot anyway, and if it does, then, well, we'll leave it at that. But it didn't. So let's then apply his head. So you saw I just pulled it off quite easily, and then just line it up, and then you'll hear it click back. Now this is the one actually where the head, the joint got stuck inside the head. So let's see if that happens. If it does, then that's a boohoo. There we go. See, that's happened there. It's a bit annoying to take out. I say a bit, it was actually very annoying to take out, so I'm not going to try and take it out on camera now because it's just going to be a huge frustration. Then let's swap his hand to something relaxed for the time being. Pop the hand on. There we go. Then what we want to do is let's swap it for, well, let me show you how to do this hand first and attach it to the shield, and then you can kind of see. So this one, let's measure it up This is not for that one, it's for the wider holes. So you just plug them in like so. There you go. And then of course you should actually loop this piece through the forearm, which I'll show you right now. So you take off the hand, loop this piece through to the forearm. I'm doing his right arm because I just find it's a bit more snug fitting than the left arm. So you line it up with the holes. I'm going to pinch it sideways like so. Actually, I should have done that later. I should do this hand first. Attach the hand first, because like I said, it doesn't really hold the shield that securely, so you're better off doing the hand first. Line them up roughly until you got the rough position, and then same with the hand, which can be a little bit awkward, but it's quite loose in there. It's not a snug fit, the actual loop on the forearm, so you can move it up and down until you get the right alignment. Hopefully I can get that. Seems I have. Very, very roughly. Oh, there we go. And there we go. The shield is now attached onto his right arm. But when you get a fine pose with it, you know, maybe when it will fall off basically. So try and move his arm that way, and then just be a bit gentle if the shield is already applied. Whether you use the left arm or right arm, it's bound to fall off eventually. It's a little bit annoying and fiddly. It's not a deal breaker, it's just a bit frustrating to deal with. So I prefer the old way they had built this. But it looks pretty good though. Once he has it on, it's very cool looking. The same applies actually to his left hand, so you've got the relevant parts for the left hand as well. But let's take this off now, see how easy that comes off. So we take off this hand, and the loop falls off. And then what we want to do is we'll try and get the hand to launch it. So I'll take the hand back off, and then I'll apply the back piece. So you can see this is actually supposed to be for the wider section, I believe. No, it's for the narrow one. So just turn back around, attach it in. Now because you've got holes that are spare, this is where you use these straps. So get the right one. That's the wrong one. So you get the right one, and then you just attach it. I'm going to attach it the same way as the other, so as in the buckle is the right way up, like so. So it looks just a bit more clean and better really with the extra strap attached on. Then what you do, let's put the hand onto the figure itself. There we go. And then just line up with the peg, slot it into his thumb as well, and then line it up at the same time. And then there we go. Now because of the slight weight of the shield, it may be a bit loose for your figure. So I find that's the case with my left hand, my figure, but it might not be the case with you. So if it is, just you're gonna have to like tinker with it, fiddle with it a bit to get the right position. And there we go. He's holding his shield, and you can lift it up, ready to throw it. So that's the other hand. Let's take it off of the hand then. I'll leave the hand on, and now I'll remove the launching bit. What I'll do is I'll show you the back side. Now this bit is a little bit fiddly because of how small and tiny this little piece is, but let's see if we can try and get it, which I have. I guess it's easier now because I've done it already. So that leaves you with a little hole which you can get this piece, which has the peg on it, slot it in. Looks pretty good. Then you just get the shield. I actually can't remember if this is the right one that's visible. Line it up. Luckily for me it's the narrow one. Line it up and just plug it in, and there you go. Captain America wears the shield on his back, and it looks pretty good with it. I mean, on the side you'll see a little bit of gap, but you know, it's fine when you take pictures with it like so. And that's pretty much how Captain America works. What else have I missed? I don't believe I missed anything else. I've shown you this, and yeah, that's Captain America. He's very, very similar to the Civil War Captain America, and I guess the Age of Ultron Captain America. Now, no movie spoilers in specifics, but he doesn't come with a certain weapon, which I know the Marvel Legends does. Now, SH Figuarts, they tend to be based on very early prototypes and concept art of movie characters, so even the costume might not be one-to-one with what's actually in the movie. So he doesn't have the same weapons and things like that. It's the same thing that happened with Infinity War, where he ended up coming with a spear rather than the two Wakandan shields. So he has a missing weapon, in my opinion, and it would be great if SH Figuarts Bandai could supply that or release that as a separate item, not for so extortion price. But sadly, he does not come with that. Even so, he still is a very good figure, and if you haven't got the Captain Americas from the past, this is a very good Captain America figure either way. There are some few issues, like I said, with the new shield attachments. They're not the strongest of holds, but it still makes a very, very good figure. But he doesn't have a good ass. I think Captain America deserves a good ass these days, don't you? But yeah, otherwise, I think this is a pretty solid Captain America. Again, they should also give us a better face sculpt. I think they could do much better with that. I don't know why with Captain America they're just being a bit lazy when it comes to the head sculpts, which is a bit of a shame, really. But in general, I do like this figure. I think it's overall a pretty fun figure to buy and play with and pose. Now, comparing it to Iron Man very, very briefly. So Iron Man stood roughly about 16 centimeters. Captain America is just under 16. Which is okay, I guess. I can't actually remember the two characters' comic sizes, but you know what? It's based on a movie, so it doesn't really matter, does it? But they look great together. You know, real bros right there. So if you were lucky to get them, I hope you're having fun with them. If not, I hope you can manage to get your hands on one of these at least. Anyway, thanks for watching though. I've covered Iron Man Mk85 in the past, and of course I covered Endgame Thanos. I will be covering Ronin probably next, and a few others. So stay tuned to my videos. By all means, check out my channel for more videos on SH Figuarts, Marvel Cinematic Universe figures, and Dragon Ball, and a bunch of other stuff. Thank you for watching. Take care wherever you are. Have fun wherever you are. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye now.